All right, Tracy, thank you. So our Yellow Jackets are out in force this morning tracking this winter blast. Drew Mikkelsen is live in Olympia. Jake Whittenberg is on Seattle's Capitol Hill, and Amy Moreno is tracking flight cancellations at SeaTac Airport. Drew, let's begin with you. How much snow is on the ground in Olympia right now?
We think it's safe to say we are in the double digits, 10 inches plus, perhaps in some spots, 15 inches we've heard. King County, you got nothing on Thurston County. We're in a parking lot here of an Albertsons and a Starbucks. Just look how deep the snow is. This is a car that somebody left here overnight, maybe thinking that it was a good place to find some shelter, perhaps. I hope no one's in here. No, obviously no one's in here. But this is the kind of snow we're talking about. We've been at this spot for almost 3 hours now. We have a couple of inches on our truck. Schools obviously are closed out here. We're getting word the Department of Health offices in Tumwater have shut down. The Department of Natural Resources are closed. These are big offices that don't usually close, but obviously when you've got this much snow, that's what these state agencies are doing today, just shutting down. But if you do work for a state agency, you'll want to call your individual office because everyone is making their own individual calls. Some good news for folks. This subway is open. We just talked to the two folks who work inside there. Poor folks had to drive through some of this snow. Luckily, they were right behind a snowplow, so they were able to get in here. They just don't know if they're going to have any customers today because a lot of folks don't want to leave their homes in this kind of weather. Live in Olympia, Drew Mikkelsen, King 5 News.
So, Drew, I have to ask you, is there any sign the snow is letting up there?
No, you know, it has been constant since I first looked out my window at 3 this morning out in Lacey. It was falling at about this rate, and no, it has not let up a bit. The sun has come up. We obviously have not seen the sun, but it's lighter out here, but that has not changed the weather. It is still just a constant light powdery snow, but not letting up by any means.
It's just piling up. That's what it's doing. All right. We'll talk with you again later. Thanks.
So here in Seattle, you know, the snow is still coming down too, and it's coating the roads, and it's making really tough for those drivers on the hills.
King 5's Jake Whittenberg's been showing us the scene on Capitol Hill. Hey, Jake, what's the latest from there?
Morning, Joyce. The snow is falling a little more heavy than we've seen it all morning long. It's accumulating. We're at an inch now, is about what we've measured here, and it's sticking to everything from poles to signs, and this is all new from the last hour here. Real fluffy, powdery stuff as well. Take a look, some sledders. Oh, they just came out of our shot, actually, wouldn't you know it, right after we turned this direction. But looking up directly up the hill here, you're seeing that semi-truck stuck on the hillside there. That's because this hillside is getting even more slick than it already is. On Capitol Hill, the flakes are growing, but snow is causing big problems on the ground. This semi-truck driver thought he could make it up the hill on East Madison Street, but it's too slick, so he had to stop and roll back down. Truck number 2, same situation. Both drivers had to stop and chain up to finish their morning delivery routes.
Yeah. It's kind of aggravating sometimes, especially when, you know, it's at the end of your route, so you're ready to go home, and then this happens.
A City of Seattle plow truck is working Martin Luther King Jr. Way, but the hillside hasn't seen a plow all morning. No salt, no sand. Drivers in smaller vehicles are having a tough time getting around too. Before heading home, bartender Jordan Giortano wants to make sure the sidewalk is safer than the roads, and in case the snow causes bigger problems, he has a plan.
If it happens, I've made plans to hunker down in my art studio, not my apartment. So if I get snowed in for 2 days, if anything, it's going to be 2 days of productivity.
With roads looking like this, it might be a better day to ride your bike to work.
Especially on this big cargo bike that I'm riding. And I go really slowly and really safe.
A lot of folks are now emerging from their homes, their apartments, to shovel off the walkways. There is a substantial amount of snow in some of those drifted areas there, so important to get that off. Also important to note that just before we went on, the City of Seattle did send a plow truck on East Madison Street to help out a little bit, but they're going to have their work cut out for them to keep up with all of this.